Hey guys, Andrew Miney here. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about fishing a jerkbait. A jerkbait is an awesome bait that you can throw anytime those fish are on a good reaction bite. My favorite time to throw a jerkbait is during the pre-spawn. Here in Texas, that's going to be like January and February. It's just, for whatever reason, they just love that jerkbait during the pre-spawn. That's what I threw for most of January and February here on Lake Austin. I caught a ton of fish with it. Some of the things that, or what makes a good jerkbait, in my opinion, is a jerkbait that suspends nearly perfectly in the water. Even a lot of baits that say that they're suspending baits, a lot of times they have a tendency to sink or float up pretty good. They're kind of suspending baits, but they either sink or the float, typically, if you ask me. So usually what I'll do, I've actually spent a lot of time with my jerkbait box and my 60-gallon fish aquarium, and spent a lot of time getting those baits to where they suspend perfectly. If it is going to sink or rise, you know, I always want my bait to have a little bit of a nose down position while it's suspended in the water, or if it's sinking, a little bit of a nose down position. If you've got a bait that's rising a little bit, you want it to rise with the nose up position. You know, it's just if you think about a bait fish, you know, in the water, you're never going to see a bait fish swimming to the surface tail first. It just doesn't make any sense. So it's going to seem really unnatural for the fish. I've got a couple of baits that rise. There are different times when they want the bait kind of rising a little bit. Most of the time they want it neutrally buoyant. So what kind of conditions would you throw a jerkbait in? Well, the first requirement is I want clear water. If I want water that's got at least 2-foot visibility, I typically like it even more than that, more like 3-4 foot visibility usually minimum. I will throw it if it's a little bit more than 2, but so clear water is a must. It's a very visual presentation. Also having a little bit of ripple on the water really helps, having some wind. Slick, calm conditions, it can be kind of tough to catch on a jerkbait sometimes. Not that it can't be done, but it's just better when you got a little bit of wind. Also, anytime that I feel like the fish are keying in on shad or bait fish, schools of bait fish, like in the fall is a good time to throw a jerkbait as well. And then both during pre-spawn and post-spawn in the spring. The gear that I'm throwing, that I throw my jerkbait on, I've got an Ardent Apex tournament reel. It's a nice low-profile reel, very smooth, so I can cast a mile. That's a must with a jerkbait. You want nice long casts, and I've got a nice long rod. This is a 7.5-foot medium action. This is the Ardent Denny Brauer signature cranking rod, actually. You want a rod, you know, typically like a medium rod, something with a nice soft tip, so that you don't pull those treble hooks, those little treble hooks out of the fish's mouth, just like, you know, with any other treble hook bait. So now let me show you a little bit about how I fish this bait. Now the number one key with fishing a jerkbait that you want to remember is you want slack line when you're jerking the bait. Having that slack line enables the jerkbait to give it a very erratic action, just going back and forth and just all over the place. It's very hard for the bass to predict its movements, and so that's what triggers them to bite. Now see, I've got some slack in the line. I'm going to jerk it nice and hard. Give it a pause with some jerk in the line, some slack in the line. Right after you jerk the bait, you want to point that rod back at your bait. So jerk and point back so that it gives you that slack. That slack is what enables that bait to dart to the side. If you jerk it and leave it like that, all you do is you pull the bait towards you, and it has hardly any action to it that way. So you want to make sure and give it that slack line back after you give it a couple jerks. When the water's really cold, I'll pause my bait a lot longer in between jerks. You know, some guys talk about leaving a bait there for like a minute or more, you know, just not even moving it when the water's really cold. Personally, I don't have the patience to do that. You know, if I'm throwing a jerkbait, I'm doing it because I'm trying to find fish fast, and I just don't have time to sit and let a bait sit that long. I'm sure it can be effective, but typically when the water's cold, I'll let the bait sit for maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds at the most. But then as the water warms up, you can fish it really fast, giving it hardly any pause in between jerks, maybe just a second or two. So now that I've given you a little bit of a demonstration on how to fish a jerkbait, I'll actually let you watch a little bit of footage right now from back during like January and February here on Lake Austin when I was catching a bunch of fish on jerkbait. Well, those are all of my tips for fishing a jerkbait. Hopefully the next time you come across some good jerkbait conditions, you'll pull one out and remember some of these things and catch a bunch of fish for me. Good luck out there.